yes, centrists, the bane of my existence, the potentially useful idiots of the regime. Or worse yet, the so-called enlightened centrist variety who are up their own asses when really they're just a bunch of drifting lefties. Or, I'm sorry, liberals who frankly are scared of any dissenting opinions on Twitter. And if you happen to be a centrist, well, let's see if we can't cleanse you of the unholy abomination that is your beliefs and give you a set of fangs. Now, recall a previous video that I did a long time ago on why centrism needs to be smashed to smithereens, where I was asking, how exactly do you qualify so-called centrist positions? For example, we often hear phrases like center-left or center-right. What does this mean exactly? Far as I can tell, it's this amalgamation of positions that tilt either slightly left or slightly right. Now, the question that I always ask is, are these positions weighted equally merely by numerical positioning, i.e. I have more positions either leaning left or right, hence why center-left or center-right, or are some positions so heavy that they can drag you all over the spectrum, maybe even to the other side? So take, for example, typical lefties. They want universal healthcare, education, paid family leave, etc., etc. Big government in a nutshell. However, they also want draconian level of immigration control, for example. These things are for the citizens of the land and only them. No foreigner is permitted any residency except under brutally strict conditions. As in, the state will kill you at the drop of a damn dime if you don't produce any proof of ID within, say, 30 seconds of being asked. That level of strict. So typical lefty positions, and then one which is considered uber right. Do you go by numerical representation now or the weighted one? And if you go by the latter, what does the immigration view do to their standing? Are they still lefty? Maybe center-left? Are they center-right now because of the extreme? Who knows? It's a mystery. Apparently no one knows. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm confused by the fact that Nazis were considered far-right when they're called socialists. I mean, compare them to the communists, there's a hell of a lot of overlap between the Soviet Union and the Third Reich. You know, speech, guns, economic control, state intervention, etc., etc. But the moment you sprinkle in a bit of nationalism, suddenly all of the overlap is crushed under the weight of this one trait, nationalism, and bizarrely, in the modern day, this gets you lumped in with the monarchists, and I'm over here going, I have virtually nothing in common with you. Stylish uniforms though, yes. But look at the patriotism in these two regimes. One's patriotism is for the fatherland, very Deutschland über alles, blood and soil. And the Soviet Union is for the motherland, the new man of the Soviet Union. But they both wanted to expand their ideologies, so in action they're pretty much the same. Blood and soil when done by the Third Reich, very, very bad. Blood and soil when done to oppose colonialism, though, very, very good. No matter if the native tribes abuse and kill each other via slavery and tribal warfare. No, that's just pro-colonial propaganda. Or something. It's almost like there's no principled consistency except to gravitate towards whatever is powerful and use it to advance forward. Blimey, I'm noticing all kinds of dangerous things over here. There is a reason the political compass is so all over the shop, is because it's rather broken. Now let's get to the crux of the matter here, because what I'm about to discuss, I swear a mere single-digit percentage of the population can even grasp the concept, let alone understand it. There is a reason why I said at the start, the potential useful idiots, and here is why. People often look at centrists as if it's the best of both worlds. We must listen to both sides and reach this acceptable middle ground. Now one must understand, this rubbish, this is not power reality, this is just rhetoric. There's a quote that I've used by a bodybuilder, Mike Menzer, and it's one of the best quotes I've ever heard. You often hear the admonition, keep an open mind. Keeping an open mind is a very dangerous idea literally. It is used to keep you confused by suggesting it is a virtue to give plausibility to everything. And obviously, not everything can be true, which is why you need not an open mind, but an active mind, one that can think critically. Although nowadays, let's get people to think first, let alone critically. Recall what I said previously in the Salon video. There is no such thing as compromise in politics. The one side is absolute no compromise, and the other side is the never-satiated barbarian of progressivism. If one side wants to give nothing and the other side wants to take everything, the former can only get a win in the absolute sense of black and white. Victory is only achieved in a hard no and repelling the horde. But the latter can achieve victory via gradients, a la incrementally. So no matter how small, if the absolute black and white was violated, the opposition is won. Now this is going to annoy some people, but it's the truth. You, the individual, you are always going to be the pawn of something, whether you like it or not. You can kick and scream and declare yourself liberties, a free agent, all of that nonsense, but again, that is rhetoric. In reality, you have to choose a master. The same way every army has a general, the ship has a captain, the pride has a pack leader. every force must have a commander to lead it. Hierarchy is the natural order of things. Look at your politics. Is there really a center movement in and of itself? No, because the center is not an organic creation. The center, as the name implies, means the middle of something, in this case, two opposing forces. But nothing in this suggests that the two forces are ever counterbalanced equally in any way. If the acceptability of one side's opposing force is far more extreme than the other, well then the so-called center has the potential to be always leftward marching. Hell, you could say this is inevitably so. Here is where that is, it is a virtue to give plausibility to everything line comes into play. Something that virtually no one ever considers is the possibility of subversion, because they often think the current order is constant. Most people who call themselves centrists have never thought about anything that I've said so far. They think, oh well, I listened to both sides, again, this is a game of rhetoric. Now how can this, well, frankly, naive order be subverted? Very simple. If there is more people in the middle who are the so-called undecided and give plausibility to everything crowd, you know what that means in the political power sense? It means there's more people that can be potentially manipulated and corrupted, more potential people that can be made to serve the leftist cause. Leftism loves undecided people because they're not principled, they aren't hardened, they are weak and can be molded. Think of the content creators on this platform. And I know most of you are thinking of a certain Canadian right about now. Why do you think leftism is constantly trying to break society of every collective identity? Simple, because they wish to atomize you, to get you alone, where you are easy to propagandize and corrupt, and ultimately replace your collective identity with one that will serve theirs. Why do you think so many young people who go into college come out radically left, insane and stupid? They had no foundational principles going in, and so they were hopelessly easy to break down and reassemble into mindless drones that will serve the will of the state. Those idiots don't have any actual power. Their entire ideology is to constantly concede more power away from themselves because they've been conditioned into believing in the benevolence of the state. The concept of granting the state ever more power to provide for you for no other reason other than you think they have your morality and best interest at heart because of some novel idea of representation for which they will pay no penalty if they abuse it. If you believe any of that, you're absolutely insane. I find it funny they think an absolute king is a farcical idea, yet they believe that nonsense. It is far easier to get one man to do the right thing than a nightmarishly large bureaucracy composed of thousands. At the end of it all, if you don't serve a master, you will be made to serve man via the state. So choose wisely. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.